I don't have a problem with Carson Wentz. This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Hang on,
Live from the studios of the Ram Cave, I'm Joe Rosian, and this is RamView, the November 8th, 2023 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word. KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues? Get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, by Granite Ridge Christian Camp, a place where your life can change. Okay, didn't even think I was going to get on today. I notified a few people I wasn't going to get on today. And I found a slot here. I hope it's working. I hope my sound is good. And I'm going to do an abbreviated show because, hey, the signing of Carson Wentz merits a little bit of discussion here, okay? We know probably, we didn't like the loss against the Cowboys, but you know what? That didn't crush us. As Ram fans, the Steelers lost, the Eagles lost, the Bengals lost, the 49ers lost. Those losses should have been crushing, but those losses weren't because we knew we were very close to grabbing those games. This game in Green Bay was sick. This game in Green Bay was dysfunctional. This game in Green Bay was as painful to watch as you could ever see in a Ram game, even worse than Dallas, I think, the week before. So I'm with all of you saying, why didn't they sign Carson Wentz sooner if that was the plan all along? And they literally just threw Brett Rippon out the door, right? It was like, yeah, nice game, bro. Yeah, okay, see ya. And they gave him the old heave ho. And so, yeah, the question justly asked is, why didn't the Rams sign Carson Wentz sooner? Well, if they had signed him in the spring, he would have cost a lot of pesos. And he's still a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. And so the Rams waited. They drafted Stetson Bennett, thinking that maybe, I didn't like the drafting of Bennett. I saw him play in the preseason. I saw some throws he made at the practices I went to. And I thought, okay, maybe the Rams know something the rest of us don't. That's cool. He's a winner. He plays well in big games. And he's got an issue. He's got an off-the-field issue that has cost him. And so that's when the Rams decided to dance with Brett Rippon. And the Rams are always cutting corners, it seems, and it comes back and gets them. And really, in the long term, you shouldn't be doing that with a quarterback in his mid-30s with as much mileage as Matthew Stafford has. So we'll throw that out there. So I completely understand that. I'm thinking maybe he cost too many dollars then. But here's the other interesting thing about Carson Wentz. The Jets, the Bears, the Browns, the Giants have all had major quarterback issues this season, and they didn't sign him. Right? There's word going around that, he's a real douche, that some people don't like Carson Wentz. He's bad in the locker room. I saw some videos showing that he wasn't excited enough when the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles playing. But again, think about it. He's 23 at the time, maybe 22, 23 at the time. He gets injured in a season where he's leading the team to an amazing record. By the way, he blew out that knee against the Rams in the Coliseum. And then he watches another guy drive the boat home, right? And so yeah, he's young. You know what? When we're young, we're stupid. We all can't be Trevor Lawrence, right? We all can't be Andrew Luck. We all can't be Peyton Manning. Some of us are just it shows. We're hurt, and it shows. I didn't think there was anything divisive. The other thing I'm thinking is that the Rams may have been playing a waiting game to see. I'm not sure. But as the season reached its midway point, they wanted to get Carson Wentz at a desperate pace, right, where he wasn't going to ask for any money. Now, the Rams were desperate for him, but the Rams are kind of playing both sides, right? We're not in a rebuild. We're kind of in a remodel, a reload, and all that kind of stuff. But when you fall to 3-6, and the shame of it is, you could be 7-2, 6-3 at the worst. You could be that. The shame of it is when that doesn't happen, then you start thinking rebuild, and you could play either card. But it was mid-season, and no one was calling Carson Wentz up. Like we said, the Jets, the Browns, the Giants all had major quarterback issues, and no one's calling. And so now the Rams get him cheaper, and now they get a highly motivated Carson Wentz, who is looking maybe to experience a little bit of the rejuvenation that Baker Mayfield had last year with McVay, right? No one liked Baker Mayfield being signed. It's whatever. Yeah, he's better than John Wolford. Okay, whatever. But then McVay and Mayfield got together, and they produced a couple wins, a couple other wins they should have gotten, and Mayfield parlayed that into another chance to start in the NFL. What did he get? An 8-rock contract with the Buccaneers? Good for him. I was lobbying that I wished Mayfield would stay for another year or two, really rebuild his career, and then be the Rams' bridge quarterback after Stafford moves on. But he had a shot, and he took it. So I'm sure Wentz is thinking that maybe McVay could be a little bit of the quarterback whisperer to him, maybe give him another shot, because you got to figure with Stafford in his mid-30s, there is going to be another shot. And I wouldn't mind seeing Wentz stay this year and then all of next year. Hopefully he's not a divisive presence in the locker room. I don't think he will. I don't know. We don't know. I don't think you can be when you got no power in the locker room, because he's not the starting quarterback. But I would like to see him, get a couple of spot starts, shine a little bit, and then maybe the Rams can flip him for a draft pick. Maybe he re-signs someplace else and the Rams get a quality comp pick. And in the meantime, we got a backup quarterback who is NFL starting caliber talent. Outside of his knee injury in 2018, he's relatively healthy. Nothing wrong with his arm strength. And just to cut off the other argument is, I don't think his signing means there's anything bad long-term for Matthew Stafford. It's just he's just a much more viable insurance policy that they probably got at a better rate. But let's look back at Wentz the last couple of years. Let's skip Washington, because he was playing for Ron Rivera in Washington. Let's look when he was with a viable team like the Colts in 2021. The Colts were 9-6. And you remember in 2021, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals were playing well, and the Colts went into Arizona and beat them, and Jonathan Taylor's running game was going well. That season, Wentz threw for 27 touchdown passes, just 7 picks, and 3,500 yards, right? And they were 9-6 going into the last 2 weeks of the season. They needed one win to go to the playoffs. They lost to the Raiders at home, and if you remember that Raider game, that's when Nick Versace was the head coach. Remember, he had replaced Gruden, and the Raiders are playing over their heads. And there was a play where Derek Carr is rolling to his right late in the game. He lofted a shot to the end zone. It was a perfect pass. It was a perfect catch. And everything had to be perfect for the Raiders to score and beat the Colts, and everything perfect happened. The Colts lost at home, and then they rolled over and died against the Jaguars the next week. Irsay put all the hassle on, of course, on Wentz, and Wentz was gone. But Wentz threw 27 touchdown passes, 3,500 yards, but Wentz took the hit. Let's jump back. The Eagles were lousy in 2020, but their offense wasn't very good in 2019, and Wentz got them to the playoffs. In fact, he got them to the NFC East title. And what did he do that year? 4,000 yards passing and 27 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. In 2017 and 2018, he had passer ratings of plus 100. It's not a talent issue with Carson Wentz. I don't know why, but Irsay also blew out Frank Wright. There were other issues there. I don't know what was going on in Philly. Maybe he'd worn out his welcome. Maybe he was a bit of a douche. I don't blame anybody for not succeeding with the Taxkins. So maybe the Rams got something here, and a highly motivated guy looking to rebuild his career. And so I'm good with it. I'm really good with it. And so we'll see, right? I'm optimistic about the second half, but then again, I'm always optimistic. I got a Super Bowl nearby. So that Super Bowl is only a couple of years ago. So I'm good. I'm good in terms of supporting the Rams. I promise I'll get to questions real quick here at the break. I did want to add something, because there was a lot of talk And my good friend Tim Burns, who is pro Jared Goff, is on right now. You can't help talk Carson Wentz without Jared Goff and how they were linked in the draft and that 2016 draft. And at the beginning, it looked very much like Carson Wentz was the better quarterback. I know I saw it. And I remember, I think I posted someplace saying when I was still working at the Mid, saying I think the Rams drafted the wrong quarterback. Carson Wentz seemed so much more NFL ready because he could do so many more things. And I like Jared Goff. I don't dislike Jared Goff, but I don't regret the trade. The Jared Goff we saw in 2018 was amazing. The Jared Goff, I invite you, go back and look at the NFC Championship game of that year, played in January of 2019, and look at the throws that Goff made when the Rams needed the game-tying field goal down the stretch. Goff made throws that he's making now, right? He's making those throws now. But that Jared Goff was not there in 2019 and 2020. His confidence was shaken. He wasn't right. Now, people will say, well, he didn't have Todd Gurley and the offensive line was shaky. Well, I'm just going to throw it this way. Do you think Jared Goff could have done in the playoffs in 2021 what Matthew Stafford did? And I'm going to throw one other thing at you. When you talk about, well, you know, it's hard for Jared Goff because he didn't have these other guys. Let's just remember as the second half went on in Super Bowl 56 and then on the game-winning drive, who were Matthew Stafford's running backs? Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers, okay? Hardly Morris and Kick and Zonka and Harris and Blyer, and man, that's not even Sayers and Piccolo, right? You got Darrell Henderson and you got Cam Akers, by the way, who blew out his Achilles again. That's a bummer for him. You know, I mean, that's not even Boobie Clark and S.S. Johnson. I mean, that's not Bertelson and McCutcheon. That's not McCutcheon and Capoletti. That's not Tyler and Bryant, right? That's not Eric Dickerson in the backfield, right? That's not Gooman leading the way for Charles White. That's Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers, whose NFL careers are hanging by a thread. That was in the backfield for Matthew Stafford on the final drive in Super Bowl 56. There's no Robert Woods. There's no OBJ. And you got Van Jefferson. He's the other guy that's out there, but we all know what Van Jefferson is, right? That's finally been basically exposed. We know what Van Jefferson is. Instead, he's playing with Van Jefferson. He's not playing with Tyler Higbee. He's playing with Bryson Hopkins, and he's also playing with the 7th round, 249th overall pick out of Notre Dame, who was hired to be a special teams player named Ben Skoranek. All right. And Matthew Stafford had one guy to go to. That was Cooper Kupp. The Bengals had one guy to guard. That was Cooper Kupp. And I'm telling you, if Jared Goff had been in that situation, Jared Goff would not have delivered the Rams a Super Bowl. But Matthew Stafford did. I am very happy for Jared Goff's success. I think somewhere there was a falling out between him and McVay. I got really sick of watching 3rd and 18 and watching the Rams throw a bubble screen in 2020. That loss to the Jets in 2020 was as gross a loss as I've ever seen, probably since the last one in Green Bay when the Jets were winless. So he's regained some of his magic, some of his mojo. He's in the right place, and I wish him well. We've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks for the Rams, and Jared Goff was not a bad quarterback. He's a very good one, but there are limitations to what he can do. All right, I am so grateful to be here. I'm Joe Tarosian, sports writer for 21 years. Now I get to do RamView, and I do that thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. Thank you so much to the Kistler Law family for supporting us, as well as Temple City Auto Repair. So I do that with our sponsors, and I write books. This is the Christmas book I put out last Christmas called The Pastor Who Couldn't Wait for Christmas to Be Over. It is a light read. Think Gene Shepard. I'd like to think Gene Shepard. It's just Joe Tarosian, but you can check that one out. Christmas season can really wear you out as a pastor, and it can wear all of us out. And all we want to do sometimes is for it to be over. You can find this on Amazon, as well as my other novels, my other books I've written, especially 2 high school football novels, Tangent Dreams is one of them. They've all been well received. And I do that, and I do RamView because it supports me in my day job. I am the pastor at Burbank Faith Nazarene. We have our channel right here on YouTube, Burbank Faith Virtual. You can find us also on burbankfaithvirtual.com, Burbank Faith Virtual on Facebook, and of course on the platform formerly known as Twitter, on X, and of course Instagram. Please like and subscribe to RamView, but if you get a chance, like and subscribe to Burbank Faith Virtual. Okay, let's look at the questions because I know I'm going to take some heat here. Tim Burns, my good friends, Steve Ramirez also. Tim Burns, I liked Carson almost as much as Goff before the draft. We'll hope his skills are up to par. You know what? I hope so, and I hope we don't see him play, right? If Stafford can be healthy and the Rams can turn the corner, we don't have to see him play, and then we don't have to worry. Wouldn't that be awesome if we can get Wentz to a one-year contract for 2024, and then the Rams don't have to spend draft capital on drafting another quarterback. Now, if the Rams are top 5, top 6 in the draft, I think you got to draft a quarterback. You just have to. You're not going to get a chance to draft a guy, some of these guys that are there right now again. But if the Rams are outside the top 5, top 6, I'd love to see we stay with Stafford, sign Wentz to a one-year deal, and then we just load up on that offensive line and all the places that we need help. Stafford won't be any safer at the line when he gets healthy. You know what, brother? I kind of agree with you, Mr. Burns. I do. I do because I've had a revelation moment on Alaric Jackson and Joe Noteboom. I think they're competent. I think they're good, but I think sometimes you get overexposed, and I think they've been overexposed. That means Jackson can come back. That means Noteboom with his contract can't come back. He's softer than his mama's love, and the Rams need to make a move there. And that's why if they're not inside the top 6, top 5, and unless somebody really falls into their lap, they need to draft, some bone crushers on either side of the line of scrimmage and build out from there. So I hear you. Steve Ramirez, good friend, sports writer, guy that keeps me on my toes. He says the answer is no on Goff in 21. Absolutely, Steve. I think we're simpatico. We agree on that. Okay, let's look to the back half here. Bulk of the show is up front today because I've been running around. Let's just look at this. Of course, Rams injuries, we talked about that. Everybody gets a chance to heal now for 2 weeks, which is good. That's a good thing, right? Kobe Durant, that shoulder has me concerned. Havenstein's calf has me concerned. I'm not worried about Stafford. I think a good week's rest for Ernest Jones, 2 weeks now, almost 3 will be good for all of them. They should be good to go when Seattle comes to town. Rams cut loose Corey Durden, defensive tackle, Myles Gaskin, Ripien, and Dresser win. I think everybody knew. All that was coming. There's no issue there. Durden got a couple snaps. Gaskin was absolutely fire insurance, but Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman played commendably. The problems with them, when you look at their rushing average, you can't look at them. You got to look at the offensive line and look how brutal they were, even just plowing the road for guys to run. Henderson and Royce Freeman have been fine. Zach Evans, we don't know what the scoop is on that, but there is the expectation that Kyrene Williams will be back for the Seattle game. So therefore, Myles Gaskin is looking for work this holiday season, along with Brett Rippon, who really looks like he's got a shot to play in the USFL. College football top 10. Number 10 is Ole Miss. Number 9, Kansas. Number 8, Alabama. Number 7, Texas. Number 6, Ohio State. Number 5, Oregon. Number 4, Washington. Number 3, Florida State. I moved them up. Number 2, Georgia, because they're Georgia. And Michigan. Michigan gets the big one against Penn State this week. I hope they just clobber the Nittany Lions, clobber them because they let me down against Ohio State. Oregon and USC, man. Yeah, you got to wonder what that's going to be like. I heard USC has put word out that they're looking for alumni, defensive alumni with any eligibility left. Dennis Smith, Ronnie Lott, Richard Wood, Charles Ussery, Georgia Chica, any of those guys, I've been told to let them know that you might have a game or two of eligibility left as a graduate this or a graduate that, or you've been grandfathered in because of COVID. Any of you guys, Tim Lavender, Cleveland Coulter, any of you guys that play defense, August Curley, Byron Darby, Ty Sperling, Nate Underwood. Any of you guys have eligibility left, I think you're going to grandfather you in a game or two because of the COVID shutdown, and the Trojans could use you up in Oregon. Maybe Marv Goo can rise from the grave. I don't know. Maybe Orgeron can come back, which wouldn't be a bad deal. Ohio State's playing Michigan State, Florida State, Miami, Georgia, and Ole Miss. That should be an interesting one. I like Jackson Dart. I don't know if that game is in Rebel Land or not. I hope it is. I think I am going to root for Jackson Dart. There we go. Okay, let's look at the NFL this week. Panthers, Bears. Man, you got to wonder, did Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels offend somebody, or is Amazon got some bad negotiators? Panthers, Bears. How bad is that? I mean, that is bad, but we'll watch it. Think about it. The Bears are starting the kid from Shepherd, Division II, and they wouldn't even make a move on Carson Wentz. Colts, Patriots. Go Gardner Minshew. Just club the Patriots. Club them, make them feel the pain. Browns, Ravens. I got a feeling the Browns could pull something, right? And let's see Deshaun Watson. He gives a chance it's a spotlight game for him. Let's see if the kid can rejuvenate some energy, give that defense some hope. That's a defense that has the ability to knock Lamar Jackson around a little bit, although we don't know if they will. Texans, Bengals. I think the Bengals are a team that's played really well for 5 weeks, and they could be cruising for a bruise, and there could be a letdown. I'm going with the red-hot C.J. Stroud. 49ers, Jaguars. Should I take what I think will happen or what I want to happen? I'm going to take what I want to happen. Go Jaguars and cause absolute pandemonium in the Bay as the 49ers fall to 5-4. Yes, we want that. Saints 5-4, Vikings 5-4. The records of these two teams are what have me bothered as a Rams fan. We wanted to keep the records of these teams that are vying for wild card spots down, but the Rams have given away games, and the Saints and Vikings have won games they shouldn't have. I'm going to go with Josh Dobbs. I'm going to go with Josh Dobbs and the Vikes in this one. Packers, Steelers, Steeler fan Rob, who has been extra spiteful and nasty this week. You better beat the Packers, right? You got to beat the Packers. You should beat the Packers. So beat the Packers. Titans 3-5, Buccaneers 3-5. I go with the team that starts Will Levis. And so, yeah, I'm going with the Titans in that one. Falcons, Cardinals. I'm going, yeah. Man, I'm surprised that game's not on Sunday night, the way the league's been going. Let's just say, I guess Kyler Murray's going to play in this game. That'll be interesting. I don't know who to pick. I'm going to go Falcons. Lions, Chargers. I'm going with the Lions. Chargers, if they had played a competent offense, would have lost on Monday night. Giants, Cowboys. Think about that. The Giants would rather go with Tommy DeVito, who plays like Danny DeVito, right? They'd rather go with Tommy DeVito than sign Carson Wentz. So that lets you know the reputation of Carson Wentz around the league, right? And Giants are 2-7. They're playing the Cowboys. And that should be something really, really NC-17 rated, because I don't think anyone under the age of 17 should see what the Cowboys will do to the G-men. Taxkins, Seahawks. Seahawks have to recover. They need a win. And Washington just keeps giving fits to everybody. Sam Howell, Sudden Sam, if you can do us a favor and beat the Seahawks. So the Seahawks will be 5-4, and the Rams will have a chance to beat them and go to Rams will improve to 4-5, but they'll have the advantage over the Seahawks in the tiebreaker with 2 wins. Jets, Raiders on Sunday night. Yeah, this ain't the Heidi game, and Joe Namath ain't walking into that locker room. I'm going with the rejuvenated Raiders. Antonio Pierce is going to have those guys playing, and there's already motivation in that room. So the Jets are going to fall to 4-5. Monday night, Broncos, Bills. Where is that game played? I think it's at Buffalo. So I'm going to give the game to Buffalo, but I think Buffalo's reeling. I think Buffalo's reeling, but Broncos are ascending. But if it's in Buffalo, I think the Buffalo Bills are too afraid to lose at home in front of their home mafia. Last week, I went 11-3. Had a good week. On total is 86-50 this year. So I've done okay.
Stone Group, my man.
I sense a dislike of Penn State. Yeah, I think I got to tell you, it's not that I ever hated Penn State, Mr. Burns. My problem with Penn State, I love Happy Valley. I've driven through there. Western Pennsylvania is beautiful. I do like Happy Valley. I have liked Penn State in the past. But you know what? I felt like I was sold a bill of goods, right? Because I really thought they had a shot against Ohio State, who I'd like to see, rot and lie stinking in the earth. And so my real anger is with Ohio State. But my frustration was the way Penn State rolled over and died. And I was being sold this bill of goods that Drew Allar will be high in the charts in the 2025 draft. And boy, they looked very ordinary, right? Very, very ordinary. Okay, so that's my problem there. So last bit of Ram news on this date in 1977, the Rams signed former Jets tackle Winston Hill. He was with the 68 Jets, and I thought that was interesting. The Rams signed him. They were already running John Williams and Doug France, and they wanted some depth, and they signed Winston Hill. There you go. All right, I'm Joe Terosian, and this has been RamView, a short version.
Stone groove, my man.
I felt it was a stone groove too, and I felt like I fired that sucker out there really fast. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. If you could share this, encourage your friends to sign up. Follow us on Spotify and everything. Friday is going to be a little tricky in terms of me getting on the air. I'm working a camp. I'll be up at the Granite Ridge Studios. I can get on the air. It's just I'm not going to be in my environs. And so if you could just be patient with us on that one, we will get a show in. And we'll see how it goes. I might have to use a green screen. Is that gross or what? We'll figure it out. Okay, folks. God bless Tim, Steve, everyone else that's clicked on, Steeler fan Rob, everyone else. Thank you for watching. And God bless. And we will talk to you very, very soon. Till then, go Rams. I like their chances in the bye week. I think they're going to win the bye by 10 points.